Hey guys, welcome back for another one. We got a good one prepared today. What we'll be doing is we'll be completely breaking down our two Monday night games we have coming up for week 15 of the 2024 NFL football season. We are lucky this week. We actually are going to have two Monday night games, one at 8 and one later that night. There's a lot of football coming up this week. We are almost done with the 2024 NFL football season. The playoffs are almost here. We're at the very end, but we have really good football. I just got done watching the Bills versus the Lions. That was a crazy game. We said that it would be a fun game. It definitely lived up to the expectations. Those are two of the top 5 teams decking out. But like I said, we have two Monday night games. We're going to break down these matchups, try to predict the outcome, who's going to win, who's going to lose, what the final score will be, touch on the money line, the best bets, the spreads. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you're a football fan, if you're a sports fan, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can follow along with us. The very first Monday night game we have coming up on ABC at 8 p.m. this Monday, the 4-9 Chicago Bears versus the 11-2 Minnesota Vikings. This is two teams going in completely opposite directions. Right now, Minnesota has a 65.3% chance to win this game. 7-point favorites. The over in here is 43.5. Looking at the Bears, since that Hail Mary disaster loss, they have not been able to rebound, get things back on track, get back in the win column. They've completely lost any momentum they had going up to that point because they were actually pretty hot leading into that game. Since then, they've fallen off the rails. Coaches getting fired, players getting hurt. The big thing for them was their offensive line, getting their offensive line to hold up. That was a massive issue they had throughout this entire season. They are starting to get better the last couple weeks, starting to give Caleb Williams some more time. But what's Caleb Williams' problem? He holds the ball too long. Now he has time, but he thinks he has too much time. You got to get rid of the ball. If there's no one open, either dump it off or get rid of it. There's no reason to take a negative 10 sack for absolutely no reason, just staring down the field. But this is a talented team. They have a solid defense. The defense will travel with them on the road, and they have a pretty good wide receiver core. They have a veteran wide receiver core. Right now, obviously, Caleb Williams is closing in on 2,800 yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 picks. They're averaging 19.5 points per game. Throwing for 182.7, running for 105.8, giving up 21.4. Like I mentioned, that defense is going to travel with them, but Minnesota is going to put up a fight. This is one of the hottest teams in the NFL on both sides of the ball. They have a top 8 offense. They have a top 8 defense. Very rounded. They can throw it. They can run it. They can play defense. They have a really good defensive line. Minnesota's goal is going to be bottle up the Bears' pocket, keep them from being able to run the ball, try to force them into third and long situations, try to get pressure, pin your ears back on Caleb Williams, try to get some sacks there. Right now, Minnesota and Sam Darnold, he's having an amazing season. He's 1 yard from 3,300, 28 touchdowns, 10 picks, by far the best season of his young career. They're averaging 26.1 per game, throwing for 238.2, running for 113.2, only giving up 18.5 points a game. That's a top 8 offense, a top 8 defense, but they're only giving up 87.2 yards on the ground. Like I was saying, their goal is to rely on that defensive line to get enough pressure on Caleb Williams to shut the run game and force him into those long passing situations. Looking at the playmakers we have for this team, obviously for the Bears, there's Caleb Williams, Swift, Moore, Odunze, Allen. They have the young guys. They have the veteran guys. They have the threats at wide receiver. Allen's not the guy that he used to be, but still he's a veteran, experienced playmaker. And for Minnesota, they have Jones Sr. and they have Justin Jefferson, a top 3 wide receiver, if not the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. When we look at the outcome of this game, this is the type of game that the Bears could actually get the upset win here because no one's expecting them to win. They're due for a win at some point, but I have to go with Minnesota at home winning this one 28-17. I have them covering that spread, and we're going to go with the over on that one. And then our second and final game we have on Monday night, the last game of Week 15 at 8:30 p.m. on ESPN, the 6-7 Atlanta Falcons. They need to get things back on track. They need to get back to 500. They have to win this game. They still have an outside shot to make the playoffs, but they basically have to win out from this point forward. You have to start here. When you're reeling, especially on offense, who would you rather play than the 2-11 Las Vegas Raiders? They might be the worst team in the NFL. If not, they are definitely bottom 2. Right now, now, this is the team you want to jump on. This is your chance to get some momentum, try to carry that into potentially making the playoffs. Right now, the Falcons have a 55.8% chance to win this game, 5.5-point favorites. The over in here is 44.5, but the Falcons, Kirk Cousins, stop turning the ball over. He has almost as many interceptions as touchdowns. Right now, this is one of the best offensive rosters in the NFL. There's no reason to force things. Take whatever the defense gives you. You have the playmakers there. Put the ball in their hands. Don't try to get crazy. Don't try to make the miracle pass. Right now, he's closing in on 3,400 yards, 17 touchdowns, 15 picks. That is awful. I actually think that's leading the NFL in interceptions by quite a decent shot. He's got to cut down on the turnovers. Use the weapons you have. They're averaging 21.4. Throwing for 250.2, one of the highest passing teams in the NFL, a top 3 passing team, and they're running for 120.8. No issues on offense except turnovers, but they are giving up 25.6 points a game. Their defense has a lot of holes, a lot of things they need to work on, especially on their pass rush, generating a consistent pass rush versus the opposing offense. But it doesn't help you when the offense keeps turning the ball over on their own side of the field. That obviously puts the defense in a lot of tough situations. For the Raiders, they're not honestly good at anything. They're not good at offense. They're not good at defense. They have really no true starting cornerback. They've been shuffling between Minshew, O'Connell. It really doesn't matter who you start. Neither one of them can consistently move the ball down the field and can consistently get first downs. I would personally go with Minshew just because I think he still has the higher ceiling. He might throw some picks, but at least he's a gunslinger. At least he might score you some points. No matter what, they're averaging 18.2, throwing for 223.9. They have the worst statistical rushing offense in the NFL, only running for 79.1 points a game. When you cannot run the ball at all, it makes it very hard to win. Passing game needs some type of play action in order to complement that passing game. You can't get the play action if you can't even run the ball for 80 yards per game, and they're giving up 27.8. And they have a bottom 10 offense. They have a bottom 5 defense. This defense is really bad, almost giving up 28 points a game. They give up about 220 passing yards, about 120 rushing yards. Like I was saying, this is the game the Falcons want to be able to catapult them, hopefully towards gaining some momentum, getting back to 500, and then using that to kind of steer them towards the playoffs. Looking at the playmakers for the Falcons, they have Bijan Robinson, they have Algiers, Mooney, London, Pitts. There's weapons everywhere. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. They got guys all over the field. That's why there's no reason for Kirk Cousins to get crazy here. You definitely don't want to cost this game versus the Raiders. This is the game that you can win and get back to 500. Don't do anything stupid here. You should be able to sleepwalk through this game. Just do enough. Play a conservative game plan. Get the win. Use that as a building block. And for the Raiders, they have Madison, but they have Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is a legitimate number 1 type of threat. He's just shy of 1,000 yards. Too bad he doesn't have a true quarterback who can consistently feed him the ball, or he would be having an even better rookie season right now. But he's putting up amazing numbers, but they got to get a quarterback in the offseason, potentially through the draft. So what do we have going on with this game? Obviously, we have the Falcons getting the win here, winning this one 27-18. We have them covering the spread, and that also puts us at just slightly going with the over. But we do have the Falcons getting back to 500 and the Raiders dropping another one. But this is a game to watch here because this is also a potential upset type of game. So that's just a quick rundown and breakdown of our 2 Monday night games we have coming up. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments about these games or anything else, please drop them below, and I will respond. Thank you.